when you get your new lamb project. And so we've got lots of different vaccines and some different products that we're going to talk about. So anytime you have a question, type them out and we'll be glad to answer that. So to start off, let's talk a little bit about our facilities. We're just in the old show barn here. The thing I like about this barn is it's open on 3 sides. Here in College Station, we get a predominantly southerly breeze coming out in this time of the year. So I like the south side of this barn to be open. I get good airflow through here. And it's amazing, just that airflow on keeping those lambs cool is going to be critical. And so we get these new lambs, we want them to eat, we want them to stay healthy. So we're going to talk about some things. Number one is health. We're going to talk about that. What do we need to do to keep them healthy? Number two, we're going to talk about facilities. That's kind of what we're leading in right now. And then we're going to talk some about feeding. And so our facilities, we just wrapped up the 2020 show season. Sometimes that was a little rough. It didn't end quite like we wanted it to, but the exciting part is we're going to get new lambs and start going again. So every year, old lambs out, the old barn dirt comes out. So we'll get in here, we scrape it down, we clean out the old dirt, and we bring in new dirt. And so I also like to use some type of a sanitizer, put it in a backpack sprayer, spray all over the inside of the barns, disinfect as good as I can. And so with that, I like the barn to sit empty, and then we start bringing our new lambs in. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. I'm getting my new show lamb for this year, whether I bought him online, I've gone to a producer, we're excited, we're going to get him started. We want to get him started right. And now most of these little guys are going to be young, just weaned, and so getting them home with the least amount of stress is the most important thing. And so first question we're going to ask, what is one of the common diseases of show lambs that we run into? Somebody comment. I'm going to hold this bottle up here. And so who can give me the common name for this product? Clostridium perfringens type C and D, as well as tetanus. What is the common name? Anybody out there? Get anything, Dottie?
Not yet, Dr. Ramsey. It'll take just a bit, but I know they're going to start answering soon. We have lots of folks telling you hi. We have folks watching from all across Texas. We have Hereford, Victoria, Roma. They're everywhere across this state, but I know pretty soon they're going to start answering your question. We have black leg and lockjaw so far.
Well, we got one. The one is pretty close. The lockjaw is going to be on the tetanus side of the things, but we'll go ahead and we'll chalk this one up to the first time. Clostridium perfringens type C and D. This is commonly called overeating. And overeating is the #1 killer of show lambs. And so this is one of the things that a producer should have vaccinated for. It's a very cheap vaccine. So when I got new lambs in, the first thing I did was to vaccinate them, right? So the desired amount that you're going to give for this product is 2 cc's, and you're going to come back and in 2 weeks give them another 2 cc booster. This is very important to make sure we get in our show lambs. We want that problem to not ever have to worry about, because that's one of those deals, the Clostridials, when it gets them, they'll be fine that night, that morning, and then the next time you see them, they're going to be dead. That's how fast this bad thing will get one. And so once we vaccinate for them, then we don't have to worry about it. The other one that's in there is tetanus, and that's just a good one to go ahead and have. Okay? So that's the first thing that we're going to do when we get our lambs, get them home. We're going to vaccinate them for overeating. And then the other thing is we're going to deworm them. So let's see that picture. We've got a picture right here. Can anybody tell me what the problem is on this particular picture? Go ahead and comment if you know. And this is one of those questions that I get lots of phone calls, guys, that, oh, I've been deworming my sheep or my goat, and I can't get rid of the worms. And so this is one of the products that we're going to talk about that are very specific for each type of internal parasites out there. So while we're waiting for people to answer as to what type of internal parasite did we see on that picture, I one thing that I want to talk about is most all of these products that we have up here, you can get over the counter. But you need to have a good relationship with your local veterinarian because a lot of these products are used extra label in our sheet. And so always make sure, read the label, work with your local veterinarian on your animal health. Okay? We get any questions, any answers on that one, Dottie?
Yeah, one of our viewers said tapeworms, Dr. Ramsey.
Hey, they're right. See who that is. We'll send them a prize.
You betcha.
Tapeworms is exactly right. And so tapeworms are one of the ones we see in our animal species. And so the product that we have to use, there's 3 types of dewormers. Your white family, the albendazoles, your avermectin family, which is cydectin, ivomec, and then we have levamisole. Okay? And so the different types of products that we have out here, you always want to read the labels on the back when you have tapeworms. And when I get those lambs in, that's very common in young lambs, I like to use one of the albendazoles. Valbazin is a good one that you can use, and it will get tapeworms as well as the other worms that your animals are going to potentially have. Okay. Now, you can use these other products, levamisole, cydectin or ivomec, and you will not get rid of your tapeworm problem. And so those are tapeworm eggs and that feces, then that's what we're going to treat with. One of the white families of dewormer, Valbazin, is one that's very common and easy to get at your local feed store. Okay? Follow the label instructions, dosing label, dosing amounts are here on the back. And that's a good one to keep around. It's easy to take care of. And so those are the 2 big things that we're going to do when we get those lambs home. Another thing that we're going to do that's very important, those lambs have just left mama. They've been loaded on a trailer and back to the pickup. They've been hauled across the state, and they are stressed. Anytime we get stressed, that's when we are more likely to get sick. So what I like to carry, some type of general antibiotic. This is a Terravet oxytetracycline. I don't know if you can see that, okay? So tetracycline is a good antibiotic. It's a broad spectrum type antibiotic. Another one that I like is XNL. Now this one you'll have to work with your vet. This one requires a prescription. I like to give those animals a shot once I pick them out. Okay, when I pick them out, pay for them, get them on the road, I like to give them a shot right then. And then I come back a day or later, says depending on the type of antibiotic I use, and give them another one. I like to get that on board their body while we're transporting them because those guys are going to be stressed. Okay, so keep those little notes down because we're going to come back and ask you some questions here in just a second. It's another problem that we often see in our lambs, and I get lots of questions on this one, is scours. Okay? So, Dottie, let's ask a question. What are lambs?
Dr. Ramsey.
Comment. Y'all are doing good.
Yeah, they're doing great, Dr. Ramsey. We did have a little bit of a problem hearing your question. Do you mind repeating that one? We saw the picture just fine. Just repeat your question if you don't mind.
Okay. On the lamb with scours, what are some of the reasons that will cause a lamb to have scours that we need to watch for?
All right, we'll let them start commenting now that they heard that. And as they do start commenting, in the meantime, if you don't mind, we had somebody ask for a close-up of the dewormer. Don't know if we got a good shot of that one.
How's that?
Perfect. There we go. That's just what they need. All right, we have a response to the question. We have a couple. We have a change in feed or coccidiosis. We also have stress or internal parasites coming in.
Both good. All of those are all correct, Dottie. And so when we get our new lambs, a lot of it lamb, you should always ask, what's the protein, and all of those things about that feed. And even if you could get a little bit of that feed to help transition him, because that's the feed that he's been used to. We're going to talk about feed here in just a second, but that's one of the things. And so we want to start those lambs out on a small amount of feed. So we're going to come back to that. The coccidia one is correct. It could be bacterial or it could be feed problems. And so one of the things that's always good to have is a product called kaolin pectin. And this is just heavy duty, basically like Pepto-Bismol. If you don't have any of this, good old Pepto will work too. Okay, so that's a good product to have. When we have scours in these lambs, our antibiotics also work. Another product that we can use if it's coccidia. And so if I have bad scours and they go to be very clear, that's an indication of coccidia. That's when you need to start working with your veterinarian. Take a stool sample, have it checked for coccidia. And so when these animals get stressed, they're always going to shed some coccidia eggs. But one good thing that you can do is buy this Corid, okay? When you get your lambs home, put this in the water, follow the instructions. Now, this is very, very important. Companies spend a lot of money coming up with dose rates, okay? And so if one of these says 1 cc per 50 pounds, that's what you need to give. Don't think, well, if I give 2 cc's, that's going to make you get well that much faster. That's not how it works. That's not judicious use of pharmaceuticals. So make sure and follow the label on this. If we give too much of this product, we'll get up here where you can see it a little better. Okay. This one can cause some other problems if we overdose, right? So make sure the instructions are on the back. Follow instructions. You put it in their water, and then you don't have to worry about it. Okay. Another product that we can use anytime those animals get sick, anytime I have to treat them with an antibiotic, when I get those lambs. And so the next thing that I want to do is use some type of probiotics. Okay. This is a probiotic. What type, here, Dottie, we got another question. We'll get everybody to comment on real fast. What type of digestive system do our lambs have?
You bet, Dr. Ramsey. I'm sure they're going to be commenting really soon. And as they do, remind everybody to like, comment, and share this post. We have lots of folks watching with us today, so that's exciting, from all over Texas and the United States. So like, comment, and share this post so all your friends can see it too. And if you do, we'll get you some prizes your way.
All right. So as we wait for our answers to come in, we get these lambs on feed, okay? One of the things that I like to do is give them a dose of some type of probiotic package. Now, a lot of your feeds will have a probiotic package in them. That's something you should check for on your show feed. But I like to give them one as soon as I get them home. These guys are normally around that 50 to 70 day age when we're buying our lambs, right? And so, do we have any answers to our question?
Yeah, Dr. Ramsey, you'd love to have these folks in class. We have some smart ones with us today. Everything ruminating digestive system.
So our sheep are ruminant animals. That means they have a 4-compartmentalized digestive system. And what makes a ruminant animal work are bacteria. Okay? And so bacteria, protozoa in that rumen are the ones that digest the majority of that feed. The byproducts they make, as well as themselves, become nutrients for our lamb. And so early on, that lamb starts developing that bacterial colony in his gut. However, that rumen does not become fully functional until they're about 60 days of age. So when we buy those lambs at 60 days of age, they're just starting to become functional rumens. That's why I like to give some type of probiotic when I get those lambs home. Okay? So, recap. We gave our lamb some antibiotic when we bought him and put him on a trailer. Okay? We got him home, we made sure to keep him cool on the way home. Once we get home, what did we do? We vaccinated him for overeating, just Clostridium type C and D and tetanus. Vaccinated him for that. We treated him with a broad spectrum parasite treatment. This particular one is valbazin. I like to use this early because it gets tapeworms. Okay. And we gave him some probiotics, okay? Because we want to jumpstart that rumen and get him to becoming a functional ruminant just as soon as we can. So those are some of the things that we do as soon as we get him home into our clean pens, okay? Now, if we've got scours, we kind of run into those type of things of using some different antibiotics. The first thing I'll line of defense on our scours is, again, our kaolin. If we find out we have a coccidia problem, Forid works good for putting in our water, or we can treat the lambs or some type of antibiotic. Okay? Now, we got our lamb home. We're all excited. We're going to shear him. We get him shorn. We really like the way he looks. The big thing that we want to worry about now, especially in the summer months, are flies. Okay? And so it's really important to have some type of fly spray to spray on these lambs after we get them shorn. Number one, that keeps the flies from biting on them, especially these guys that we just get in. Their tails are probably still a little raw from when they were docked. And I see numerous times people that don't take care of that, those lambs get flies on them, the flies bite them, the lambs start scratching and biting on their tail head, and pretty soon you have a very, very bad scar back there. It gets really nasty, okay? So keep a little bit of fly spray on those lambs and do a good job of taking care of flies in the barn. Right? I don't know if you can see, I got fly strips hanging up. I got the little fly catchers. We try to clean these pens at least every other day to minimize the amount of flies. That lamb is not wanting to go to the feed bunk. If he's not wanting to stay laying down because the flies are getting him, then he's not growing and doing like what we want to. One other thing, let's look at the one with the we're going to show you, we got another question for you to comment on if everybody's ready, okay? And so, what's wrong with this lamb? You come out to the barn, you notice his eyes all watery. What is our condition? We'll give you a few minutes to comment on that.
Yeah, Dr. Ramsey, while we wait for people to comment and
okay, we got some questions.
We do have some questions, and one of them just came in. It's if we can share this information in a type of flyer or document for youth who are first-year exhibitors that might want to learn more. And I know you have some great resources online at the Texas A&M Animal Science website, and we also have some online at texasyouthlivestock.com. We'll even have your recording from last week where you talked about selection and other things. So lots of useful information online at texasyouthlivestock.com. And then I know y'all have a website as well.
Yes, it should be. Most of this information should be on our website. We also have this information that we hand out at our lamb and goat camps. So if you come there, you'll get this information. If you've got questions, we'll get my email on there. It's sramsey@tamu.edu. Have any questions that we can help out with. Okay. So in the meantime, those are good. Did we have any comments on the?
You have lots of comments. They're all saying Pinkeye, Dr. Ramsey.
Great, man. We got a smart group out there today. So that is the first stage of Pinkeye. Let's show the second stage. And here we're going to show you the second stage. That is the second stage of Pinkeye. What causes Pinkeye? Okay. A lot of times it's a chlamydia type organism, but it is transmitted by flies. And so we control the flies in our barn. We can help control Pinkeye because once you get it in there, it can go through all of them. And so our tetracycline works good. This terramycin ointment that you can order also works really good for treating Pinkeye. This is just ophthalmic ointment. All of these things. Yes, all of these things that I'm showing you right now, you can get over the counter at this stage. Okay, so those are things that we want to be able to catch quick. Again, clean barn, try to reduce the amount of flies. We won't have to do that. Okay? So as we go through here, the other thing that we want to talk about is a very important tool to have in your barn. Okay? Everybody knows what this is. This is a thermometer. So get your mom or dad to go down to Walgreens, CVS Pharmacy, and buy a thermometer and keep it in your barn. Make your little box to keep all your pharmaceuticals, your needles and syringes. Because what's going to happen if your lamb gets sick, the first thing you need to know is, does he have a temperature? So as we talk about this, we'll give you another chance to show how smart you are. What is the normal body temperature on your lamb? Okay. What is the normal body temperature? So get your folks to go buy one of these, because I promise you, if you go up to the house and you get this out of the medicine cabinet in your mom's bathroom and go down and use it on your lamb and then take it back up to the house, she's probably not going to be very proud of you, because we're not going to put it in the lamb's mouth. Okay, that's not where you take temperature on your lamb. Okay, so another one of those important things while we're waiting on some comments to come in. Let's talk about one other thing that I'm going to do when I get those lambs home is I'm going to give them a round of B complex. Okay, B complex. And so that animal, we're going to put him on a high concentrate diet. He's going to grow really fast. His brain needs lots of thiamine. Okay, so I have a lot of people that have bottles of thiamine, have bottles of B12. Okay, don't worry about buying all these. You have to have a prescription and get thiamine from a veterinarian. Right? Just go and get a bottle of B complex. It has all the B vitamins in it. Okay, and so I like to give my lambs a dose of B complex about every 3 to 4 weeks. Simple injection, follow the label instructions, and you will never have to worry about an illness called thiamine deficiency. It's also known as polioencephalomalacia, okay, called stargazing. And so that's a bad problem, and you can prevent it by 2 ways: giving injection of this and feeding some hay. We're going to talk about that. So,
Dr. Ramsey, you have lots of folks giving you answers on the temperature. You have a lot saying 102, and the majority saying 100 to 103.
So it's about 101 to 102 is the normal body temperature range on our sheep. Good. Man, that's a smart bunch we have out there. And so what kind of needles and syringes? And so here are a couple choices of products that I like to use. This one, the pink, is an 18 gauge needle. It's 1 inch long. The other one on the yellow is a 20 gauge needle, 1 inch long. Those both work perfectly fine for our lambs. Okay. And so we have our little medicine box. We've got our needles and syringes. We've got our thermometer. There's some other products I've got here that you ought to have just in case they get cut. Some Vetricin, a little alcohol. We've got some betadine scrub, Luma Shield. These are all products that you can get over the counter. Corona ointment. I'll hold this one up here. I really like Corona. It works good on any type of cut, scrapes, anything like that on our lambs. The good Lord produced a product that makes lambs greasy. Anybody know what that product is? It's lanolin, okay? And so lanolin is a sheep's natural skin protectant antibiotic. That's what Corona is. Corona is pretty much lanolin. Some other things that we have. Let's show a picture of it. Next one. All right, Dottie, we got another question or another. What's wrong with this animal? Look on his lips. Okay. So you guys answer we're going to keep on going. So the illness on that one, okay, is ovine eczema. Another name for that is sore mouth. Okay, so it would be one of those things that I would ask my breeder or who I'm buying those animals from, did you vaccinate that animal for sore mouth? And if he says yes, you don't have to worry about it. If you've never had it in your barn, you probably don't have to worry about it. But if you've had a lamb that gets those sores on their mouth, then you need to order this vaccine. Okay, you need to get your mom and dad to help you. This vaccine is different than this vaccine. Okay, this vaccine is dead. It's not going to hurt you if you accidentally stick yourself with a needle. This product, you're going to dip your needle in there. You're going to make a scrape on the inside of that lamb's leg where there's no wool, and you're going to brush that fluid on that scrape. That's how we vaccinate for sore mouth. Okay. Now, this vaccine is a live virus. So what does that mean, Dottie? That means if you stick yourself or you get this on your hand and in a cut, you're going to get sore mouth. Okay. Now, you not necessarily get it on your mouth. You probably get it where you stuck yourself, but you're going to have it for about 2 weeks, and it's not real fun to have. Okay, it's kind of painful. So if we go through here, we've got different types of antibiotics, dewormers. We've talked about all of those. Let's go in here and talk about
answers to your last question.
Okay, we got some answers.
Yeah, everybody's following along. Everybody agrees it's sore mouth. They're saying it's very contagious. Tracking right along with you, Dr. Ramsey. We do have one question as we think back to when you were talking about gut health. Somebody asked a question, and it is maybe getting your thoughts on the idea of using yogurt to help with gut health.
So if I get a lamb, yogurt is made with bacteria. Yogurt works good if, there's lots of different things. That's why we eat yogurt, humans. One of the things is the probiotics that they put in yogurt, the bacterial culture. If I have a problem, I'm going to go with this product, okay? Or a product that's like it. Not necessarily, there's lots of different brands out there. I'm going to use one of these. The problem that you can run into with yogurt and buttermilk, those type of products, is I can mess up the pH of the rumen. And I get these little guys and I get too much of that buttermilk or that yogurt in there, then I can decrease the pH of the rumen. And so even though I'm putting bacteria into their system, I'm also going to be killing some bacteria because of what I do to the pH. The pH of the rumen needs to be very neutral. It's about 6.8. 7 is neutral. Okay? And so we want the pH of that rumen to be 6.8. When he eats normal feeding, that pH is going to drop. And so that's what happens if he eats too much, the pH keeps dropping and we run into acidosis problems. If we get too much buttermilk, we get too much yogurt in there, we can do the same thing. Now, if that's what you have, that will work. But I prefer to go with one of these that does not change our rumen profile in terms of the acid levels. Okay, that's a great question, though. All right, so we've talked about all of these things real fast. Let's talk about where we're going to give a shot. Well, one more picture that we've got. Let's do this one right here. We got one more question. Let's look at this guy right here. You guys are doing so good on answering questions. I got my lamb. I noticed that he's coughing, sneezing a little bit, and got a really, really runny nose. Now, some sheep are going to have runny noses. That's just part of it. But this one gets very thick and mucousy. So what is our problem going to be? We wait to get some answers. I want to clear some of this stuff off.
Yeah, Dr. Ramsey, I know they're going to be answering here pretty soon. We're a little bit delayed with Facebook, but that's all right. We will get those answers soon enough. Just want to remind everybody to keep liking, sharing, and commenting this post. That's way everybody can see it and learn right along with us. So our first answer is pneumonia, Dr. Ramsey.
That is correct. And so when we have pneumonia, you know, we want to treat those guys fast. And so some of our products that we talked about early are XNL, our New Floor, tetracycline, all are very good about treating pneumonia. And so on these little guys, it's very important that we treat them just as soon as we can. All right, so we've got our lamb. We're going to get him up here. All right, while we're waiting and doing a little transition, for all you guys last week, we'll have a little question and answer. Okay, what are the 4 parts of a market lamb we talked about last week in terms of the wholesale cuts on a market lamb? So you guys can be commenting as we go on. All right, we've got our lamb. We just got him home. We've given him his probiotics, and I want to come in here and give him an injection of overeating. Okay, I'm going to vaccinate him for overeating. Here's another question for you guys out there, since y'all are doing good. Where am I going to give him this shot? Am I going to give it on the right side or the left side? Am I going to give it in the leg? Am I going to give it in the top of the hip? Am I going to give it in the neck? Where am I going to give this injection? Okay, and how do I know where to give this injection? Number one, I'm going to read the label. I've got my bottle of overeating. The label says 2 cc's. I'm going to pull 2 cc's. And so as we go through here, we're going to give all of our shots on the non-show side. Okay? So when you're showing this lamb, I'm going to be on this side. The judge is going to be on this side. This is the side that we're presenting. Most of the time, you're never going to have a problem, but for some reason, a lot of times on the overeating shot, it will make a little knot. We don't want to give that anywhere that detracts from that lamb. So all of our injections, we're going to give here under the front leg. Okay. We're going to give under the front leg. This is our subcutaneous injection. We're going to slide our needle right in here. You can pick up and see that the needle is under the skin. And we were going to give the injection right there. Okay, that's a subcutaneous injection. We always want to give our shots on the non-show side. Anytime we can, we want to give it underneath the skin for subcutaneous. We're always going to read the label to see what the proper way is to give that. Most all of the medicines that I had today are subcutaneous injection. A couple of them are intramuscular as well as subcu. If you have a choice, always go with the subcutaneous. If I have to give an intramuscular shot, the places that we want to give that are where? Not here. Not here. Okay? Not here. These are all the valuable cuts that people are going to eat. Okay? And that's part of one of our quality control points, okay, is that where do you give an intramuscular shot? One area is right here, the point of this neck, okay, or the other area is in this pectoral muscle right here. We give an intramuscular shot. So those are the ways, those are the places that we're going to give an intramuscular shot, subcutaneous or intramuscular. All right? Dottie, did we get some comments on what are the parts of our lamb?
Yeah, Dr. Ramsey, you have lots of folks saying leg, loin, rack, and shoulder.
All right. Probably had me judge them in a showmanship somewhere. That's one of my favorite questions. Okay. We're going to let this lamb down. And let's talk a little bit more about getting our lambs started on feed. So when I get those lambs home, one of the most important things that we're going to use, and some of you guys that have heard me give this talk, it's a hard question right here, Dottie, the hardest one. What is this? And I'm going to give them a hint. It's not a coffee can, okay? This is a high-tech feed delivery system. And so we want to make sure that our feed is fresh. It's important that we weigh our feed each time. I've got a simple scale here that I keep set up in the barn. I'm going to pour my feed in there. And on these guys, how much do we want to feed? Right? So these guys weigh somewhere around 50 to 60 pounds. Normal rule of thumb is somewhere in that 3 to 4% of their body weight. So when I get those lambs home, remember, we're going to try to bring some feed that they're used to. We're going to start them on that feed. We're going to mix our feed in there with that to transition them over a few days, mainly 3 to 4 days. And then we're going to bump their feed. And depending on what your goal is, whether you want to feed them all they want to eat, or a good rule of thumb is about 2 to 3 pounds a day. And what we want to do is while we're still cool, and if it's not cool, we're going to put fans on them. We want to push them. I want to get some cover on them quick. I want them to grow before it gets too hot. Once we get, especially down here, once we get into July and August, September, those lambs aren't going to grow a whole lot. So as early as I can get some condition on them, especially if they're going to jackpot show. And so we talk about and that 15 to 16% protein is adequate. At that time, I would not add extra protein to that feed. That is enough protein at that stage. And the most important thing that we see is make sure that feed is fresh. Okay? We want to make sure that feed is fresh. We have lots of molasses on this feed. The other problem that we're going to see when we have this, and that's one of the reasons that fly control is important, flies like that as well. Okay? So a good rule of thumb is to start that lamb off, pound in the morning, a pound at night, and go until he's cleaning that up. Okay? Yeah, you can see we start rattling feed buckets. Everybody's starting to get hungry. The other thing that we're going to do, let's talk a little bit about a feed label. Okay? And so if I go over here, get my feed label. How many of you guys read your feed labels? This is one thing that's very important. Let's talk about protein, okay? We talk about 15 to 16% crude protein is a good level. Now, I like to feed a feed that is relatively high in fat. I like the fat level to be somewhere around 5%. Fat is what puts bloom on these animals. We're pushing them, trying to get them to grow. The other thing that you're going to look at is fiber, okay? And so even though most of these feeds are going to run somewhere in the neighborhood of 11 to 13% fiber, that's not enough fiber for that lamb, especially when we have the 60-day, 75-day-old lamb that we're trying to develop that rumen. Remember, there was one big word that we talked about, polyoencephalomalacia or thiamine deficiency. Okay? How do I prevent that? One, I give them a shot of B complex. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to feed them hay. I like to feed hay. We got different types of hay here. I always get the question, what type of hay should I be feeding? Right now, I'm trying to get these lambs on feed. I want them to transition onto our feed that we're going to feed them. I want them growing and blooming. And so I'm going to reward them for eating. Okay? So I alternate between two types of hay right now. I have some very high quality alfalfa hay. It's really green. It's really leafy. It smells really good. This is like candy to those lambs. Now, you have to watch because this can actually cause some scours if they eat too much. So it's kind of like eating candy. A little bit goes a long way. Also like this Sudan hay for this time of the year. It's a little coarser. It's a little stemmier. The thing about this sorghum Sudan hay is it's very sweet. It has a lot of sugar in it. So even though it looks really coarse, they eat that. And so if I get too much, if I'm pushing these guys and I get just a little bit of scour, I will increase this type of hay in them. Now, once we transition to what I call a show lamb, we're really focusing on how much feed they're getting each day, starting to exercise. I want to control what nutrients are going in them. And so that's when I will switch over to just some old coastal type hay. And it doesn't have to be the greatest quality. And so this is when I get these lambs over 100 pounds. I want to feed them this coastal hay because I want that fiber in that rumen. And that's the thing that most people don't feed enough is hay. Okay. So we get these show lambs on feed once they're bigger. Right. Every day, each lamb in the barn is going to get about that much hay. Okay. At least every day. Right. That is not going to make his ribs blow out. That's not going to give him a big belly. Okay. They need that much fiber, and if you feed a lot of hay, you'll have a lot less health problems. Right? So as we go through there, these guys love this. But I also want them eating the feed because it's got all of my vitamins and minerals and probiotic package and everything that I need in this feed. Okay. And so we got some questions.
Yeah, Dr. Ramsey, feel free to finish your thought, but we did have a question come in, a really good one. Folks are interested in what you think is the best technique or product for fly control.
I use a multiple approach to fly control. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got these little, you'll scan up here. I got these little fly strips, and I've got one of these little bags. Those things are super cheap. They work very good. Another product that I like to use is this product called Quick Bait. Okay. So this is a granular product that you put out. You want to be careful that you don't put it where your pets can get into it or your lambs. I keep it on the ledges out here where those flies feed. It works really good. They also make a product, Quick Bait does, that you dilute in water. Like this barn has wooden rafters up here, and you will tell where the flies like to land at night. Okay. And so I'll take that product and I soak this wood rafters with that product. When those flies land on there at night, it'll kill them. Okay. So those are the products that I like to use. If it gets really bad, I'll use some type of permethrin product that I can fog the barn, come down here at night when the flies are up here in the rafters, and that's the best time to do a fog. Good. Any more questions?
Yeah, Dr. Ramsey, we had one kind of going back to the beginning when we started this talk, and it refers to a lamb with a bloody tail. If you had one with a bloody tail, would you cover it with a blanket?
If I've got one that's having tail problems, the first product that I'm going to use is I'm going to put that Corona ointment on there. I'm going to use a multiple approach. Okay. I'm going to put the Corona ointment on there for those bloody tails. I'm also going to spray some Illuma Shield on there. Once this dries just a little bit, I want to make sure and put some fly repellent. This is the most important thing, okay? So the Corona will also keep the flies off of it. It's very thick, but then I'll put some of this on top of it, okay? Good.
Great answer there, Dr. Ramsey. And the Corona ointment might be a really relevant, timely source of, a solution there. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Goes good.
You bet.
Probably is not going to cure our Corona outbreak.
Maybe worth a shot. Yeah, that's the questions we have for now. So, you know, we're right near our time. So if you want to, you know, finish your thoughts and we'll start wrapping up and ask for any last minute questions anybody wants to put in our comments, and we'll be sure to get to those before we get off.
Okay, I've got one more picture to show them that I want them to look at. What is this problem? Now we're getting close on time. So when we've got these young lambs, that problem is rectal prolapse. Okay, part of it's genetic, and part of it is if your lamb starts to cough. That's why it's so important that if you got one that's got a snotty nose, kind of pneumonia, starts to cough, it's important that we get him treated. Okay, because when they cough, that puts pressure on that rectum. We get that rectal prolapse is very hard to fix. Okay, so we want to keep our pens wet down, especially during the summer. We don't want them to get dusty. We don't want them muddy. Okay, but we want the ground to stay damp, and so that's very important to keep the dust down. If you watch these lambs, they like to keep their head close to the ground, and if they're breathing in that dust, that's when we run into problems with pneumonia. All right, so we've got a few minutes to wrap up. If we've got some questions.
Next week, what do you cover next week?
What are we going to cover next week? We're probably going to do some more on showing animals, getting our animals started. Now that we've got them here on feed, how do we start breaking them for showmanship? What are we going to start doing? How are we going to go to a show, talk about going to shows, what to take, and probably do some stuff on training both the sheep and the showman, some showmanship. So good. All right. So while we're waiting for some questions, here's what I want you to watch. We're going to back the camera up. I've got some lambs here. They're ready to go. This is what your lambs need to look like when we put them on feed. Okay? When you bring them in here, they need to have a healthy.
Yeah, Dr. Ramsey, as we pull those in here, just want to remind everyone to please like, comment, and share this post so we can have as many folks see it as possible. Also want to remind them about all the great resources we have online at texasyouthlivestock.com, as well as your animal science website, and then, of course, the camps we'll be having, hopefully this summer, with more information for sure. Also, like you alluded to, just want to remind them to join us next Wednesday, also at 4 p.m. You'll be talking some more. I know it's going to be great again next week. So we would like everybody to join us also next Wednesday.
Yeah. All right. So one of the things we finish up, we've got our lamb, we fed. This is, you look at these guys that go down there and feed every morning. How are they doing? That is our first sign if our lamb is healthy or not. We want them to run up and eat aggressively. If they don't do that, first thing we need to do is catch them, take their temperature. We have a variation in temperature. We talked about that. We all guys all answered that question. Normal temperature on a lamb, 101 to 102. Super important to find that out. Okay, that will tell us, is it a virus? Is it bacteria? Is it an infection? Does he have a temperature? If not, does he have the scour? Does he feel bad? And so there's lots of things that we're going to look at in terms of health. So the main thing is we want to make sure that they have a good appetite when they come up there and start eating. Use a fresh feed. Okay, there's lots of good feeds out there. The key to feeding is get a feed that's consistent and that you can get fresh. Okay, that's fresh. And then get the problems early. Okay? All right. We're about out of time. It's been great having you guys. Thanks for all the comments and likes. You guys did super well on the questions and the answers. We'll be sending out some prizes and some rewards. Noddy, got anything else we need to cover?
No, people are asking about last week's video, and we'll get that posted online at texasyouthlivestock.com. And then going forward, we're going to be right here on Facebook Live at Texas Youth Livestock and Agriculture on Facebook. So we'll see you next Wednesday at 4, Dr. Ramsey.
All right. Thank you, guys. Y'all take care. Have a good week.